Hello everyone. My name is Rishabh and we will be starting the session at around 7:05 sharp. So before starting, I just wanted to know where are you guys from? Which part of country are you from? Can you just type it in the chat box? Nice, I can see people from all around country. Also, just wanted to know if you guys have attended a webinar like this before, or is this your first uh, session? Okay. And I believe many of you are doing your graduation. So can you just type in in which year of graduation are you in so that I'll have a fair idea about the target audience for this session? Hello, hello. Is my voice clear? If my voice is clear, please let me know in the chat box. We will be starting at 7:05 sharp. Okay. So, how familiar are you with the topic? Are you at beginner level or intermediate or advanced? I hope most of you are in beginner, right? So I can see a message saying that can you start with basics? Yes, we'll start from scratch. Uh, you won't get to see any coding. We'll just walk through what machine learning is, okay, to get a feel of what machine learning is all about. So don't worry. So we'll wait for 2-3 minutes more and then we'll start. Any questions that you have before starting the session? So okay. So language for machine learning. So most famous is Python because Python is very user friendly, right? We do have inbuilt algorithms in Python. People even do machine learning in Excel also, but Python is more famous these days. Okay, so one person is asking book for machine learning. So there are many books, but the most interesting one is 100 Days of Machine Learning. It is one of the best book that I've read, and it gives you the basic understanding of what machine learning is all about, how basically algorithms work. We will be starting in 1 minute. Okay. Yes, we'll cover the opportunities in ML, like what at all the sectors in which ML is useful that we'll go through. This is going to be a crisp session. Uh, so, a final check before we start the session. Can you guys please confirm that is my voice audible? Is it clear? Can you see the screen? Don't worry about the certificate, you'll get it. Don't worry. Perfect. So, let's start. Hi everyone. Very good evening to all of you. My name is Rishabh, and I will be your instructor for today's evening. And before starting this session, I have a humble request to all of you that don't try to mug up anything. You can just sit back and watch this session. Okay, and this is going to be a very introductive session, and it is made to give you just a brief idea about what ML is all about. Right. This is going to be a very light presentation. I don't want to spoil your weekend. So let's start. A brief introduction about me. So basically, I work as a CFD engineer in leading automobile company. I've done my post graduation from IIT Kanpur in fluid and thermal sciences. Apart from this, I was selected as a scientific officer in NPCIL and other PSUs also. And I'm a national level hockey player. And currently, I basically work in CFD and also machine learning. So after enough bragging, let's just start the topic. Okay. So our main goal for today's session is to understand what exactly AI and ML is all about, right? We will not be touching deep learning as it is bit intensive to explain and we have limited time. So we'll just try to understand what artificial intelligence is and how it differs from machine learning. Okay, so you will see a lot of memes today because this presentation I've kept very light. Okay, you won't see a very heavy coding or very complicated text. This is just to give you the hang of, like, so that you can understand artificial what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning, and you can even explain it to even a 8 to 10-year-old kid. Okay, so this presentation is made in such a way to give you a basic understanding before you kickstart your career in machine learning, right? So let's start. So I hope everyone has watched the movie Lord of Rings. Like, however, the rings we are talking about are shown. This basically to tell you that ML and deep learning are basically the subset of artificial intelligence. So you can consider artificial intelligence as the, what you can say, artificial intelligence is basically made up of machine learning and deep learning, right? So this slide is basically to tell you that there are many subsets of artificial intelligence which makes a machine behave like behave in a manner so that we can call it as artificial intelligence. Now, just to, like, before starting, I just want to tell you that how it all began, right? How people got to know that machines can be moved. So it all started in World War II. We know that there were two powers that were fighting in World War II. One was Axis, which had Germany, Japan, and Italy. Other one was Allies, which mainly consisted of USA, Great Britain, France, and Soviets. So what actually happened is that uh, Germany basically built a device which is called as Enigma. Okay, so the story goes like the Enigma was the machine which is built by Germans to communicate the military activities. Enigma was initially thought to be unbreakable, and but it was eventually cracked by a team which is led by Alan Turing in UK. So Alan Turing and his team basically made a machine which is called Bombay, BOMBE, which basically processed the data from the Enigma machine and it eventually cracked it. So in this session you will get some of, like, some movie recommendations also. And one such movie is The Imitation Game. It is one of the best movie to give you the hang of, like, where it all started, how and when the term artificial intelligence or machine learning coined. So you can just, like, we have Sunday tomorrow, you can watch this movie, and the actor is none other than, you know, Benedict, right? Doctor Strange. So let's start with AI. The first thing which come in our mind is the question that what is an AI? Like, can you call any machine an AI? And if not, then why not? We need to understand the qualities that the machine should possess to be called as an AI. Like, we have number of machines around us, but are they, can they be categorized as AI? Can your fan be categorized as an AI? So we need to understand these things, like under what condition can we call a machine an AI. So see, for any machine to be called as an AI, there are two things that we need to understand. The first thing is that machine should think like humans, and the other thing is it should behave like humans. Okay, so there is a thing which is called as human consciousness. So human consciousness basically means that able to think like human and behave like humans. So artificial intelligence is nothing but a smart machines, and smart machines which can think like human, behave like human. Okay, so let's say I want to buy some stuff from Amazon, and so what I did, I first checked my account, like, enough money to buy things or not. After that, I opened the app, I added some product, and when I was checking out, I saw that there are some offers on certain credit cards. Okay, so instead of buying the products directly, I thought to use those offers which can save my savings, which can reduce the cost of those products. So in this way, what I did is basically I acted smart. Basically acted in a way to save my money. So that is a smart thinking. Okay. Now let's say you have a robot and you ask that robot to basically buy some stuff for you, and that robot went to Amazon and you told that robot that you want a pair of shoes. Now that robot basically added the cost of shoes it could find on Amazon and purchased it without looking for any offers available. So that robot didn't acted smart. Okay, that is basically to that is basically an example to give you a hint what basically means by thinking smart like humans. Okay, another thing is behaving smart like humans. So let's say you are driving a car and a person comes in front of your car. So what is the first thing you do? Will you push accelerator button or accelerator pedal or the brake pedal? Now, as human, it's a tendency to press brake pedal. Now let's say you have purchased an autonomous car and you are driving that autonomous car. Now, when a person or any object comes in front of your car, the first thing that uh, your autonomous car should do is to press the brake pedal. So that is basically mimicking the human character, right? So if your machine is basically acting or behaving smart like humans, that is also an AI. Now, there are basically many tests to help you understand how smart is your money or is your machine really smart. But since we had previously talked about Alan Turing, and I've also told you to watch the movie The Imitation Game, so that's why I'm giving you the example of Turing test. So what actually happens in the Turing test is, one second. I think my voice is cracking. Give me a second. I'll just fix it. Is my voice good now? Am I audible? Hello. Okay. Let's start. Okay. So what Turing test is all about? So basically, you have a interrogator. Okay, and that interrogator basically communicates with a machine and a human. It asks certain questions to both of them, and in return, he gets the reply from both computer and human responder. Now interrogator doesn't know like if he's getting the reply from the computer or human responder. If the interrogator is able to identify which one is computer and which one is human, the machine basically fails the Turing test. So this is just a very crude way to tell you what exactly the Turing test is all about. Okay. Now the second thing is, so we initially talked about what AI is. We discussed that AI basically takes the help of machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so you can think of AI is a package which has inbuilt machine learning tools, deep learning tools, data analysis tools, NLP tools, computer vision, robotics, etc. For example, your autonomous car, which you are saying that it has artificial intelligence, it basically takes the help of machine learning, deep learning, data analysis, and all other stuffs that you are able to see in the screen. Okay, so in simpler term, AI is the big picture of creating smart machines, while machine learning is tool within AI that help those machines learn from the data to perform the task more effectively. So let's say again, let's talk about the autonomous car. Now your autonomous car has been fed with a very huge data. Okay, like how to perform under certain conditions. Those data has already been fed to your car, your autonomous car. Now it is the machine learning algorithms that basically goes through the data and tells your car what to do. So in a way, machine learning is basically a part of your AI machine. And uh, one second. So yes, so machine learning is basically a part of your AI and is helping AI take better decisions, right? So this is basically, you can see a meme like AI is like, I know everything, I am expert in this, I can do anything. Okay, now what is machine learning? So like, is it the machine learning something, or what exactly is it is all about? So to understand machine learning, let's say you have a person in your class, okay, who can go through the entire books and can make a short and crisp summaries having all the key information in this book. So basically, that person now knows everything in that book because the data available in the book available with the boy, and now the boy can write answers in the question in the exam basis he has seen. Okay, so that's basically the machine learning. Now the point is, the main task of machine learning algorithms is basically data is the most important thing when you talk about the machine learning. So you feed the data to the machine learning algorithms. Those machine learning algorithms learns from those data and takes and help you in taking the better decision, and that is embedded in the AI machine. So in some way or other, we all are machine ML engineers, right? Because we like we are above 20 years, like we are 20, more than we have age of 20 years or more than 20. So some way or other, we have taken decisions based on our experience. Okay, so for example, let's say on Sunday afternoon, usually there is a power cut if it rains on Saturday night. So let's say you have observed this thing, that if it rains on Saturday, there are high chances that on Sunday afternoon there will be a power cut, right? So now let's say today is Saturday, okay, and it's raining heavily today at night. Now, based on your experience, or based on the data that is available to you from your past, you can basically predict that there are high chances that there will be a power cut tomorrow afternoon. So you charge your power banks and all. So that is basically a crisp idea of what machine learning is, what machine learning does. Okay, machine learning is not a rocket science. It's basically driven by data. Another example is, so that is basically a very random example. So let's say your friend usually comes late to the college if uh, the day is Friday and there is some match plus there is some rain. So basically, this example is to tell you that a number of combinations. So what data is? Data is basically this combination that Friday match, rain, plus next day is second Saturday or fourth Saturday. And from the data, you know that 8 out of 10 times your friend comes late if these four things match. So now, if this condition occurs again, you can basically predict that there are high chances that my friend will come late to the college. Okay. Now, what are the applications of AI and ML? So basically, machine learning algorithms has changed the way automobile industry used to work. Okay, ML is basically, or in bigger sense, AI, because AI, as I've already told you, has embedded ML in it. So AI or ML has basically changed the automobile sector. Like uh, you haven't experienced it in India, but abroad, basically Tesla, the autonomous car, is possible just because of data that is available to them and the algorithms that have been made to basically drive the vehicle without driver. But there are other zones also, like you use AI and ML in quality control also. Okay, so these are basically the key parameters in which you use AI ML in automotive industry. Okay, I'll not be explaining each one of them. I'll just go through one of them so that you'll get the idea. So let's talk about the quality control. Okay, now let's say you are making certain products, or let's say the rim of the vehicle. Now you have certain passing criteria that the fillet radius should be this, the diameter should be this, the length should be this, and these are the conditions in which my tire or my rim should pass the quality test. Now you can't uh, like a human cannot go through those intricate detail or integrate dimensions in detail. Okay, so now you have made a model which basically in real time goes through all the data and takes a decision that whether the rim is suitable or fit to be put in vehicle or not. So that is basically an example, okay, in automotive industry. Again, so this you all have seen, or you almost know this. In Amazon, if you basically buy any product, okay, so in Amazon, if you buy any product, you must have seen that a tag which shows that customer who have bought this, like they have also bought this item. Okay, so this is basically to pursue the customer to buy the thing which others have bought with that particular product. Okay, so that is basically the shopping recommendations. Also, let's say based on your shopping patterns, for example, let's say I am a programmer at Amazon. Now you are buying, for like I've been tracking your data, like what at all do you buy. Okay, what is your buying pattern? Do you buy clothes more, or you buy gadgets more? Okay, so I've made an algorithm like that. If you buy let's say clothes more, then I'll give you more recommendations of clothes. I'll not be pushing ads of gadgets on your Amazon, because I know that you're not the right customer for it. Okay, second thing is chatbots. So we know that every consumer app that we have now, be it what you can say, Zomato, Swiggy, even Amazon, has a chatbot inbuilt. Okay, so you can basically put your grievances in that chat box. You can talk with it. So that is also basically an application. Also, uh, let's say you are let's say you are in the month of October or November, and you are a seller of let's say light bulbs. Okay, now you have the 10 years data of the pattern showing the selling of light bulbs. Like we know that October, November, Diwali is there. So you can basically forecast, or you can basically predict the probability of the products that you should be prepared with to sell this year. Okay, because there will be certain conditions, like whether that particular year country is in recession or not. If the country is not in recession, what was the selling? I'm just giving a very crude idea, like how can machine learning helps in e-commerce. Okay, gaming. So is again a very big sector that got benefit from AI and ML. Understanding player behavior and understanding how people end up playing the game, and building the with real time, uh, what you can say, player experience, is something which is driving the gaming industry like crazy. And again, a movie recommendation. So there is a movie called Moneyball, and featuring Brad Pitt. So basically, in this movie, you'll get to know how data helps in taking the decisions in a sport. Okay, for example, let's say there is a team A and team B having a match today. Now, basis the performance of particular player, you know that if the opposition has two seamers, let's say if we talk about cricket, if you know that the opposition has two seamers and three spinners, and you are playing in, let's say, Australia, for example, uh, based on our past experience, we know that in Australia than KL Rahul, and certain players, certain bowlers in Australian team, then that particular player have better track record compared to others. So these all are basically the key parameters or key factors in which AI/ML plays a role. The next one is the entertainment industry. Okay, so let's say you open your Netflix and you watch a thriller movie. Now you will start seeing the recommendations from other thriller movie from Netflix. Okay, and let's say if you have watched a Hollywood thriller movie and you are continuously watching it, so basically the Netflix will observe the genre of movie you're interested in. Okay, so the Netflix basically observe your pattern. Okay, so that you watch movies mostly at night, what is the genre of the movie you watch. Okay, and basis that, it basically goes through its own data, fetches the movie that are best suitable for you, or for which Netflix can have your screen time. Okay, so that is again an example. Another big example is banking. So one of the major, what you can say, um, beneficiary of AI/ML is banking, be it fraud detector or credit scoring. So let's say some of you will join banking sectors in future. Okay, so there is a department in each bank called risk analyst. So what does that risk analyst do? It basically has the data of majority of the like it has the data of all the people who have taken loan from that particular bank. Okay, now let's say a consumer comes to your bank with uh, certain criteria. Let's say he's earning this much, his CIBIL score is this much, and other parameters. So now, basis the algorithms that you build, your bank will decide whether to give a loan to that person or not. So that is basically how much risk is involved in giving loan to that person. So that is basically a risk analyst do. Okay, so that is the application of AI/ML in banking. uh, Banking sector basically have a lot of future scope in AI/ML, because the fraud that is going these days. Okay, so basically, you must have seen in some of the bank that if you I don't know if you've seen it or not. Like, if you're doing a certain payment, and then there is a chances that your app basically goes through your contacts, and they'll tell you that this looks something risky. Okay, so that is also there in some apps. And Yes, another major key vertical that we have in each business today is business analytics. Okay, so you will now see a basically in IIMs also you will see a branch which basically dedicated to the AIML. How AIML can be used in business analytics. Okay, so each company has its own vertical, which basically hires the AIML engineers to basically deal with the data that is there for their own industry. Okay, be it automobile, be it finance, and be it any other thing. So the list is long. There are, I don't think there is any sector these days uh, which is untouched by AIML. AIML is basically everywhere. Not even a single product you see today, be it your geyser or be it your what you can say fridge, okay, your oven. Every product that we see today has somewhere or other ML embedded in it. Okay. Uh, After that, so we'll take a 2 minutes break, and after that, we'll just touch upon uh, an example of machine learning. So, till now, what we have basically studied that machine learning, deep learning, data analysis, these are basically the key elements which makes a machine to be called, which basically helps in building an algorithm by which a machine can be called as an AI. Okay, we also understood that to call a machine an AI, that machine should behave like human and should think like human. So that is basically a key understanding of machine learning and AI. Deep learning is, as I've already told you, a part of AI, but it is bit intensive, and like the time will not permit to discuss deep learning. So now we'll put our focus to machine learning, and it's 7:36 right now. We'll start at 7:38 sharp. Okay, this is going to be a bit what you can say introductory session to the machine learning. I'll just give you a simple example how machine learning algorithms work, because I can see a majority of, like, I've made this presentation in such a way that you are listening the machine learning word for the first time. Okay, many of you who are not a beginner or are at intermediate or higher level might think that this is too basic, but this presentation has been made to keep everyone in mind. Okay, so we'll start at 7:38 sharp. Thank you. Hello, let's start. Is my voice audible? Hello. Okay. So, let's talk about machine learning. So, I've already told you that machine learning is basically an algorithm which takes the data, process it, and gives an outcome. Okay. So, in this section, we'll basically talk about supervised and unsupervised learning. So, basically, the machine learning is divided into two parts. The first part is supervised learning, and the second one is unsupervised learning. And what are the evaluating performance? So, how will you evaluate whether your algorithm or the algorithm that you have built is good or not? So, that we'll see. Machine learning uses algorithms and models that enable computers to learn from data and make predictions or decisions. So, basically, what actually happens is that let's say you have a certain data, and that data is need to be cleaned first, because you can see the company hires people especially for data cleaning. Okay, because the raw data is not fit for the algorithm. Okay, you need to clean the data first, and then you need to give it to the machine learning algorithms. Now, what algorithms is all about? So algorithms are nothing but the statistics, and statistics is nothing but the mathematics. So you have a data, and you have to clean that data so that you can feed it to your algorithms, and that those algorithms, because if you use Python has inbuilt model for the algorithms, so you don't have to perform any statistics or maths. You just need to know what is the right algorithm for the given data. Basis that, your algorithm will predict, or it will find the pattern in the data, and it will give you the key insight to take a better decision. Now the machine learning algorithms basically has statistics inbuilt into it. We call it machine learning, but it is essentially a statistics. However, you don't need to understand statistics in detail, because the algorithms basically has probability, calculus, linear algebra. Linear algebra is one of the most important thing for the machine learning algorithms. But these mathematics need not to be known by you, because as I've already told you that Python has inbuilt what you can say algorithms, and you just have to use the function for that particular algorithm, and you don't have to code it, or you don't have to basically design algorithms on your own. Bec- uh, as I've already told you that machine learning has two key verticals. The first one is supervised learning, and the other one is unsupervised learning. Now, just to understand what supervised and unsupervised learning is all about, as the name suggests, that in supervised learning, you basically teach your model or teach your algorithm that what is to be predicted. Whereas in unsupervised learning, your algorithms learns on its own basis certain key parameters that we'll see. So what actually happens in supervised learning is that you have a labeled data meaning, for example, let's say you receive a mail, and now you want to put that mail as legitimate or spam. You because you guys must be receiving hundreds of emails in your mailbox. Now you want to build a machine learning tool which can basically tell you that, or which can basically put a certain mail in your spam folder or legitimate folder. Now, when we talk about supervised machine learning or supervised machine learning algorithms, you basically have to teach the your machine learning algorithm first. You basically have to tell your machine learning algorithm that under certain conditions, if these conditions are met, then put this mail into the spam folder. If these conditions are not met, then put this mail into legitimate folder. So that is basically a supervised learning. So what actually happens in supervised learning is, let's say you have this data. So this is nothing but the data that is available with you. Now you basically break the data in two parts. The first one is training set, and the second one is test set. So what the training set is? So training set is nothing but a set or the part of data that you will use to train your machine learning algorithm. For example, let's say in this data, since you have labeled data, meaning when you are doing the supervised machine learning, you already know the result. Okay. You know that if email, let's say you receive a certain mail, then you know that if the email ID exists for that mail, if the subject is trusted, the content is relevant, then put that mail into inbox. And similarly you have number of rows, or you can say a big data that is available with you with the known result. The known result is important, because if you don't know the result, how can you teach your algorithm about which mail should belong to which folder? So you basically have a labeled data, and you use a part of that data as a training set. Second part of data is used as a test set. In test set, you basically hide the result. You give only this information, and you ask your algorithm to predict, like, whether this mail should be put into inbox folder, hold folder, or spam folder. So that is basically a supervised learning. So what actually happens, as I've already told you, that these four columns are nothing but your inputs, and the result is output. In supervised learning, the data that you are feeding to your algorithm should have a result, because then only you can teach your machine learning algorithm that which mail belong to which folder. Your machine learning algorithm goes through all the data, and then basically it understand, okay, under this condition the mail belongs to the particular folder. For example, if you look at the first row, if the email ID exists, the subject is trusted, the content is relevant, then only I will put this mail into inbox folder, because you have already labeled data. Once you train your data, okay, so a part of your data that you used as training data, now using that training set, you have basically trained your data. Now your algorithm has already studied the training set. Now the part of data which you kept for testing your machine learning algorithm is now new to your machine learning algorithm, because your machine learning algorithm has not seen dataset B. It has only seen dataset A. You broke your total data into two parts, dataset A and dataset B. Okay. You trained your machine learning algorithm by dataset A, and now you will hide the result column. Your machine learning algorithm has not seen dataset B at all. You will hide this column, and you will feed only this data to your machine learning algorithm, and you will ask your machine learning algorithm to segregate these mails into different folders. Once you do that, you basically check the output of your machine learning algorithm. Now your machine learning algorithm will give you certain answer. You will compare that answer with the actual answer you already have, because as I've already told you that supervised machine learning basically deals with the labeled data. In a sense, you already know what is the right answer. You basically test your machine learning algorithm with this data. You get the answers or the output from your machine learning algorithm, and then you check with the actual output that should be there for that particular mail. Okay. Now what should be the evaluating performance? The example that we just saw was a classification problem. There are basically two main problems that we deal with. The first one is classification, the second one is regression. Now, what is the classification? Classification is basically classifying the, for example, classifying the mail as spam or legitimate. So you have only two criteria. You are classifying your mail to go either on this side or this side. Similarly, you can have three classifications wherein you classify as spam, legitimate, or inbox, the one we just saw. So that is basically classifying the result into different categories. The second one is regression. Now, just to give you an example of regression, let's say you are purchasing a property in Mumbai. Okay. Now, you have a data with you which says that if you are buying the property in Navi Mumbai, and if you are buying 4 BHK and you have basically certain amenities in it, then that is the basically price that you will have to pay to purchase that property. Now, with all the data for all the houses in Navi Mumbai, now you go to the Navi Mumbai and you want to know what will be the price of 2 BHK under certain conditions. Under certain conditions, meaning, let's say your society should have a swimming pool or it should have a gym. Then basis that you will basically regress through the data and you will basically find out what should be the price of a 2 BHK. You are not classifying anything, you are basically regressing. Okay, so that is basically an example of regression. Now, in classifications, a key parameter to look for to evaluate the performance of the models are as follows. We have certain parameters like accuracy, recall, precision, or F1 scores. Okay, so basically, let's say the classification problem that we just dealt with, basically classifying a particular mail as being spam or not. Now, basis the performance of our machine learning algorithm, we calculate these four parameters to understand how my machine learning algorithm is working. If we are talking about regression, let's say I'm predicting the cost of a 2 BHK, then I'll calculate these parameters like how far I am from the actual cost of 2 BHK. So that is basically the mean absolute error, mean square error, or root mean square error. These are basically the prima facie that we do on our machine learning algorithms to basically train it in the best possible way. Okay, so now coming back to our problem, you basically, as we have already discussed, that you basically fed these three columns to your machine learning algorithms, and then your machine learning algorithms gave a output. It can give, let's say, two output, whether the mail is spam or legitimate. Now, the mail have only two possibilities. Okay, it can be a legitimate or spam. Now, your machine learning algorithm can be either wrong or right because there are only two outcomes. Now, let's say your machine learning algorithms labeled a particular email as spam. Now, there are only two possibilities. The first one is a legitimate email is labeled as spam. It means your machine learning algorithm has not performed well on this email. And the second thing is your spam email is labeled as email. It means your machine learning algorithm performed well. In a second case, let's say a particular mail has been labeled as legitimate. Now, again, there are two possibilities that a legitimate email is labeled as legitimate. It means your prediction of your machine learning algorithm was right. And the second one was that a spam email is labeled as legitimate. So, in this case, what your machine learning algorithm will do, it will put a spam email into your legitimate mail folder. So, it means your machine learning algorithm has not performed well. So, basis the predictions that your machine learning algorithm has done, we basically predict a confusion matrix. Now I'm not going in detail of the confusion matrix because again it's time consuming, and it for that you basically have to have some knowledge about running the machine learning algorithm. So that's why I'm not going in detail of confusion matrix, but this is just to give you a hang of how to calculate whether your machine learning algorithm has performed well or not. Okay, so let's just talk about the summary of what we have understood till now. Okay, we understood what is an AI, what is ML, then what are the two main verticals of machine learning: supervised learning or unsupervised learning. Then we understood that what is the classification problem and what is the regression problem. And then once you build a machine learning algorithm, how to check the performance of your machine learning algorithm basis these key parameters. Now if I go and explain each parameters, you'll not be able to get it because since you are still at beginner level, so that's why I'm not going in the detail of each and every one of it. The basic idea of this presentation was to tell you how exactly machine learning works. This is a very brief introduction to machine learning. Okay, I've not taught you any coding and all or anything that, but this is just to give you an idea how machine learning algorithms work. How in supervised learning we basically break the data in two parts. First part is used for teaching, the second part is used to test how your machine learning algorithm is working. Now let's just talk about unsupervised learning. So we have understood that in supervised learning, we need to teach our algorithms. Okay, we need to teach them that which mail belongs to spam, which one is legitimate, and basis the teaching, it basically predicts the new mail under different headings. In unsupervised learning, what actually happens is that your algorithm identifies certain parameters on its own. For example, let's say you feed the shape of 100 or let's say let's say shape of 100 or let's say 1000 fruits to the machine learning algorithm. Now you want your machine learning algorithm to tell you out of these 1000 images which images belong to a particular fruit. For example, if your unsupervised learning can segregate the photos of banana for you, photos of apple for you, or not. So what actually unsupervised machine learning does is it basically look for the similarity or look for the pattern. Let's say it identifies that out of these 1000 images that you have given to your unsupervised learning algorithm, some of it has a longer some of the images are longer in length, so it basically segregate those images under certain banner. Okay, so that's how the segregation is done. So unsupervised learning basically does basis the pattern it finds in your data. Okay, so this is just a brief idea about what is unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, you are not teaching your algorithm anything. It is making the decision basis the pattern that it finds in the data. Okay, so this is basically a brief introduction to machine learning. Again, you can watch these two movies. These also deals with the AI, because in robot we can see that like if you have watched it, you have seen that robot basically developed a feeling for the actress. So basically it was thinking like human and it was behaving like human. Same goes for the movie Ravan. So I hope you understood what machine learning, or if like you understood basics of machine learning, like how machine learning basically performs and how it differs from AI. So that's all from my side. If you have any doubt, you can let me know in the chat box. Guys, you can take the quiz, and after completing the quiz, you can download the certificate. You'll get the link for the certificate, and you'll also get the certificate in your mail. So you can attend the quiz. So a person is asking what is reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is again a vertical of machine learning, wherein an machine learning algorithm learns and make decisions by interacting with an environment. So basically, it makes a guess and then basically you reward it. Okay, in the most simplest form, I'm telling that basically you basically reward the prediction by your machine learning algorithm. For example, let's say your machine learning algorithm has given the right answer, okay, and it has put let's say for example it has put a correct mail in the spam folder. So if the prediction by the machine learning algorithm is right, you basically reward it, and if the prediction by machine learning algorithm is wrong, then you basically apply a penalty on it. So basis the rewards and penalty your machine learning algorithm gets is basically learns on its own, and then basically give better predictions with time.